Hello everyone, welcome back to Guvna Rides. Today we're in the garage and we're going to be doing a little Quadlock project for you. And for that we're going to require the services of one motorcycle handlebar mount, which is this. It comes with different inserts. The one that I have for this bike ready to go over on the bike is a 1 inch, which is the correct size for those type of handlebars for the Triumph. We're putting on a vibration dampener. We're also putting on a 12 to 24 volt waterproof wireless charger. This is a wiring to an ignition source on the bike. This is not a USB. It's going to go direct to an ignition source, which I've already sorted out and we'll show you when we get over to the bike. A million pamphlets, which nobody reads, I'm sure. Then the Galaxy S24 Plus cell phone holder, which is the phone I'm going to be using. And there goes a Harley. This comes with a little flappy paddle type of thing here that you push to release the phone, but because we're using the wireless charger, we won't require this, so we took it off. We're going to put it somewhere safe, like in the box. We will also require the services of some Allen keys right here. The wireless charger comes with a couple of grommets or pass-throughs, and these are in case you need to drill the frame, because these aren't purely for motorcycles. These can be used for boats and things like that. So you may have a situation where you'll need grommets. An extra screw there with Loctite on it, little thingy, and some cable ties. God bless them, they've included a couple. There's actually 4, 2 are over at the bike. And I guess to make this thing go even smoother, we shall require the services of some Lakefront East Side Dark. Cheers. So everything is already laid out and ready to go. We're going to go over to the bike and I'll show you how it all installs. What I've done is I've got the wireless charger head and I mounted the handlebar mount to this, so that's going to sit somewhere here. I haven't quite figured that out yet. It's going to need a little bit of adjusting. And then I've routed the cable down to follow these cables here, which is all the horn and all that kind of stuff. So I followed that down, and then it's going to go down underneath here. And what I've also done is I have loosened the tank off already. There's a bolt at the back of the tank which you can't see. Let's try and turn that camera around. So there's a long bolt here that goes through the tank. So I've removed that. We're going to pull the tank back and then finish routing the cable to the back here, which is where, yeah, I'm changing the camera again. Everything is going to be wired in, which is going to be right here, and I'll show you that as we go along. Now be careful as you work on this. First of all, if you tip this tank up and it's in its existing position, there's a good chance that you're going to scratch the front of this tank here on something here, metal or whatever. And I say that because I did that a little bit on my 22 accidentally. I forgot to pull it back, I tipped it, and I've just put a little nick in the paint. You couldn't see it, but I know it's there. All right, so what I have done is I've blocked the tank up. I pulled the tank forward. The tank, it doesn't have to be removed. So I loosened that bolt, as I said. I pulled the tank forward just off of the rubber grippers, if you like, the little bumpers that the tank slides into. I put it on a couple of 2x4s that I had pre-cut at work. I'm just gonna just readjust that a little bit. So anyway, the tank is up. I've started running the cable down through these 2 loops here that are part of the main harness loops. I think they're plastic. So I ran that through here under the beginning of the tank. This is the cable right here. Just a word of caution, common sense stuff. Don't cable tie this to any breather hoses or anything like that, because you can create a choke point. And try not to cable tie to any really thin wires that look delicate. And to quote Del Boy's Garage on this one, you know that. So we're going to finish running this up through here, going through, there's a cable clamp. I'm going to run this through here. just following the breather hoses and what have you. Fuel line, that's another thing, don't attach it to the fuel line either. Anywhere that you might create a choke point is not a good place to attach it. And then come down through here, and then once these blocks are out of the way, you're going to be right back here where the battery is. So I'll put this back together. I'll be back with you in a minute. So before I took the block out, I put a cable tie right here, I think around the frame, and just kind of held this in place. There are little guides for cables right here, so perfectly happy with that. Everything's cable tied all the way along underneath the tank. I'm happy with that too. So what I'll do is I'll remove this block. Now I'll reset the tank, but just a word to you. You can go ahead and cover the tank if you want. If that's something you'd feel comfortable with, by all means go ahead and do it. I didn't, and the only reason I didn't do that is because I wasn't working over the top of the tank at any point. And I had no metallic things on my belt. I don't have jeans on or anything, so I wasn't worried about scratching the tank. But please, if you're a little nervous about that, by all means cover it. I find that covering this particular situation would probably get in the way anyway. Okay, so I've stripped back. This is the full length of the wire that comes with the wireless charger. Now if you do go to the back, it's pretty much just barely long enough, so just keep that in mind. This is a T120 Bonneville. If you've got some clever routing going on that you're using up extra cable, you might struggle to get to the back here, but this is where I brought it based on some information that I'll share with you in just a sec. So I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink on this to clean it up. So what's going to happen is that the ground is actually going to go straight across over to here. Now this is the way that I am doing it. If you've got another way of doing this, have at it, but there's some information I got off the Triumph wrap forum on how to tie this wire in for a constant ignition. You don't want to come directly off the battery with this because there's a good chance that you might kill your battery. So that will go right here on the ground stud. And then I'm putting a mini fuse holder in right here with a 3 amp mini fuse. And what that will do is protect this circuit. These are, I believe these are 20 gauge wires. They're either 20 or 22. And you don't want any bigger than a 3 amp fuse in there. So that's also going to go into the circuit as well, just to protect it. You just never know. Take precautions now, ride happy later. So before we go any further, we're using this yellow wire. This yellow wire here is the wire for the running lights. Now, as I said, I looked at the Triumph wrap forum and they posted a wiring diagram for people that had similar questions. Somebody asked how they would install a Thunderbox, for example, and that's the reason the wiring diagram was posted. So this yellow wire is the wire that goes to the running light. If you want to test that, you just unplug this, turn on the ignition, and you'll see that you've got no running light power. I also tested off this lower pin here, which is the middle pin out of these 6, and I used a voltmeter, and I had nothing before I turned the ignition on. Turned the ignition on, I had power. I started the bike, I tested, I still had power. So I knew that this circuit was good, and that is a circuit that some of the people there suggested we use. I think it's a similar circuit to what the horn is on, and at some point it breaks out into a white and black wire for the horn. But you can do it right here, and I kind of like to keep everything electrical right here as well. So that's what we're going to do. Blue dot. Little pull. We're also going to put shrink on these too. So you want to put your shrink on before you crimp. And this dielectric grease gives long protection. I consider this an external connection, so that's why it's getting greased and heat shrink. You use your blue here, just with care, make sure you're not crimping any wires. Push and hold those in. And I always go back through again. At this stage, it doesn't hurt to do that. There we go. So that will be heat shrunk. Now, also what's good to remember is that when you remove your seat and you check back here, there's some factory jacket over all of this wiring. All I did was just cut it back to where I needed it. And I'm going to put a piece of split loom on this when I'm done. So now, keep in mind too that your seat is going to sit here as well, so you don't want to have any pinch points. So try and keep that away from this. Here we're going to use a pink, and here we're going to use a blue again. Once again, this is prepped with dielectric grease. Yeah. Let's try that again the proper way. There we go. Get a good bite on that. Give it a pull. Put your shrink on. I can't tell you how hot it is in here. I'm absolutely sweltering. Jeez, give me a light just for that, would you? Whew. There we go. Make sure, 2 reasons why you pull. Obviously, the first one is make sure you've got a good connection. Secondly, you haven't over crimped it and you've broken the wire. So I'm going to put a bit of split loom on all of this, clean it up a bit and run that down to here. Then we're going to get our ground hooked up. This is all going to be cable tied up nice and neatly here. All right, so now, for all intents and purposes, when I turn this key on, everything should be working just fine. However, I left the key in the kitchen, so I'll be back in a moment. Did I just say all intents and purposes? All right, guys, so we're going to do a quick recap here. And I just noticed that my microphone has been spiking through this whole video, so I do hope it hasn't distorted too much. But anyway, let's do a quick recap. So, I ran the wireless charger down under the tank, came up over here, put some split loom on it, tied into the yellow wire that goes to the tail lights, put some cable ties on it, mini fuse holder with a 3-amp fuse. These are available in any automotive store. I actually split the wireless charger wire, which is red and black, and took the red this way and brought the black over to here, the ground. So everything's all good and hooked up. Now, as you can see, I did cover the tank when I was working up here, so I'm not reckless and irresponsible. I don't know if I can do this while I'm holding the camera, but as you can see, this is springy. Right now, the bike is off. Let's turn the bike on and see what happens. Actually, let's orient that differently. There we go. I like that orientation better. And I'll set it all up for my own preferences afterwards. All right, so here we go. Turn the bike on. Boom. And it says wireless charging. And just to prove that, you'll have a red light right here on the wireless charger. So that's it. That's everything done. Nice, easy install. It would have taken me about 40 minutes, I would think, maybe 45, just moving the tank around and what have you. Oh, Don't forget to put that bolt back in. I haven't done yet. Yeah, 45 minutes, they're about stopping and starting for video. Obviously, it's going to take it a little bit longer. But there it goes, and I'm adding a screen, a Marlin screen, which is held up in customs. So the Marlin screen will go on and give a little bit of protection for the phone. If you have any questions, please feel free. Any comments, if you've got another way you're doing it, I'm always interested in hearing from you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments and likes, as always. Please like and subscribe. We like having you around. Until next time, cheers, take care, and for all my American family and friends, happy Independence Day.